So there's a beautiful weekend here. I'm gonna show you outside. In case you're of the land where there is no snow, we have a lot of updating to do as well. Did you know that we just had another baby? It's a little hard to find time doing anything right now other than keeping our kids alive. If you see this video on YouTube, it means that I prioritize my mental health.
Oh, self-care.
I know. We figured, okay, what would be the best topic to talk about in this resurgence of making Corsifam, and what did we come up with this?
We're gonna talk about the whole birth of our great little man Teddy, because it was not normal. My boobs are lined. My boobs are all over the place. So let's just get into it. So at the end of my beautiful pregnancy, I went through multiple testing to ensure I did not have gestational diabetes because my baby was so big. Even in the womb, he was a giant baby.
Very, very big.
I wanted to deliver vaginally. That was part of the birthing plan. Problem is, here in Nova Scotia, we've had such an influx of people moving here that even though I was on the induction list to get the baby out ASAP, I think I waited 10 days on the induction list.
Yeah, I think this is where our story begins. Was it because of his size? Or was
Size, and also I had gestational hypertension.
They put you on the induction list. So for us, that was the goal time. They told us that they can call us tomorrow.
They said it would be within the week.
Now.
Within the week.
That's the time when we became like high alert mode.
Every day I had to go in for a baby monitoring test where you sit on a monitor for hours. That last week I was there pretty much every day until they admitted me.
We really were on that induction list a lot longer than I think we anticipated.
Definitely. And as someone who's pregnant, super pregnant, at that last stage, you just want the baby out. And when they say you're gonna have the baby out in a week and then it's 10 days, you kind of get a little pissed. You're like, hello, hello. Every week I had an ultrasound and he had turned down, so head down, but then he had turned sideways.
He turned sideways while we were waiting.
So that made us go onto a C-section list, which I think was really heartbreaking for both me and you.
The moment C-section became a part of the conversation, that just kind of elevates the entire anxiety surrounding pregnancy, I think.
I was admitted for my gestational hypertension. Thanks, high blood pressure. Because of that, every day I convinced a doctor or a nurse to pull out that mobile ultrasound and see if he had flipped back to head down. There was a day where your whole family was there and we all went out to lunch. Like, it wasn't confining or anything like that. Saturday came, he was still sideways.
And at that point you already had a date scheduled for the C-section.
Correct, C-section is scheduled for Monday. Sunday morning came around, doctor came with the mobile ultrasound. He turned head down.
I was so incredibly excited.
I was stoked.
It was go time.
It was a race against the clock because we didn't want him to turn again. Deborah didn't even make it back from swim class. They had already put me down into the delivery floor to deliver, and we had started the induction. That's another sad part. I was only allowed to have one support person with me, which sucks because Choba was doing stuff with her daughter.
I got like a tag on my arm and I was the only one being able to go in and out of the hospital. I couldn't bring Annabelle in. Like there was no way to switch people. It was like there was one person on the list
and that's it.
And that was it.
So we start the great process of delivery. Hello and welcome to my birthing suite. Baby decided to finally go head down, and now we are trying to induce labor.
So what are you gonna do right now?
Take a nap. I'm gonna take a nap.
How are you feeling?
Tired.
Yeah.
Scared.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah. I did do a Foley catheter again. Now with Annabelle, the Foley catheter whole process took 20 minutes. Loved it. In and out, popped out after 12 hours. It did its job perfectly. Teddy was a posterior baby, and to get to my uterus, they had to like climb through some things, and it took almost 2 hours to put in the Foley. I think that was the worst part of the whole thing.
Yeah, and I walked in the middle of that.
Yes, you did.
I knock on the door, I walk in, and what I see, the picture that got me is like, this was on the thing, just like getting some kind of pipe, like smoking on something, and she's screaming like, Jabba!
Jabba! The nurses are like, who is this guy? And I was just like, Jabba!
It looked from the outside, it was probably the most painful part as well.
And I learned a lot. I don't do well on laughing gas. There was a point where I didn't think I existed anymore.
It's about 5:40 right now. The Foley is in. We finally managed to put the Foley in, and they're saying that now the plan is that This is going to be getting the oxytocin at around 6:30. So the baby heart rate is being monitored. Actually, that's what you were in the background. And you got like a nice trip of fentanyl, which was fantastic. I've heard.
It was just it was a vibe, man. It was a vibe.
It's just vibing. So things are good. Things are progressing well. And yeah, we're just kind of jamming to our little boy's heart rate here. And you're also getting some penicillin, who was invented by a famous person.
They started the pectin, which is the drug to get you induced, and it kind of is like a slow process. Every hour they up it until you get to your magic number for the contractions to start. All right, it's 8:30, fully fell out. By fell out, I mean it pulled out.
It seems like it was out,
Yeah. I had a good nap. I needed that. We're getting ready to start the oxy.
Yeah. Baby is down, head down again.
Head down again.
Getting the oxy.
Getting the oxy. Oxytocin.
Oxytocin is the stuff.
So last time we did oxytocin, it was a half hour and then things went to crazy town. So let's see how long it'll take this time.
Yeah.
The contractions finally started, and they started hard and fast. I was ready to ride that plane. I was riding those trains.
It is 10:40 right now, and my resting heart rate is 43 BPM. Wow. That's pretty low. This is just having some mild contractions. Our baby's heart rate is still, it's like a slow burner. Baby likes to be in there. He finds it very comfortable. All right, now just carrying on, just enjoying it.
There was a point where I remember being very uncomfortable to a point where I was in agony. I looked at our tiny little nurse and said, I would like the juice. So we called in epidural guy. You remember how I fought the pain? I told that pain, no.
You were very angry in this whole process.
I was like an angry person, wasn't I?
Definitely was a side of you that I don't really see.
We don't see that very often.
Our little nurse, I think she was scared of you.
I think she was scared of me. Anyway, I did get the epidural, except this time, unlike with Annabelle, I had a full spinal block. Nobody told me I was getting a full spinal block. I was basically numb from here down. They brought out the little thing to test you, and they like go up and they're like, let me know when you feel the tool. And I like got to here and I was like, still don't feel it. They're like, oh, it's fine. Someone had finally checked me and I was at least 7 centimeters, if not more. Then we had a nice little break because, you know, the juice was working and I was able to sleep for an hour. The only thing that woke me up was my water breaking on its own.
It's just like the water like splatter all over the floor and all like,
That poor,
what happened?
poor little nurse was so frightened.
Your water broke on its own, girl.
His head went to where it was need to go.
Yes.
Thank God.
There was a lot of valleys, ups and downs that day. The
Ugh.
emergency C-section was in the picture for so long, but then when the water broke and they
it's
did that check and it was down and we were like,
Then we were
okay,
in the clear. We were like,
we are go for
we
the
could do this.
natural stuff.
I remember like being able to doze off again for a minute, and then I woke up and I really had to poop, and that's when they called everybody in. Because that's not a poop. That's a baby turd.
Yeah, and oh my goodness.
It's a soundbite for you, honey.
It's great. Everything just like speeds up super quick. There was one moment his head was out and then his shoulder got stuck.
Shoulders, and we need NICU.
There was like 5 people on top of me, molding me into a very cool contortion.
Yeah, they put you in like a down in a different position.
I was like pretzeling.
And then you were on like one last push, and then just kind of like squeezed out, and the shoulder was able to get unstuck. So
Hi.
You can set that down.
There you go. 440. 440. Happy birthday, sir.
When he was born, he didn't cry right away.
and that was like, oh,
That was scary.
It was, yeah.
They got him to cry though. They threw him on my chest, so I was like, holy shoot. Wouldn't you say he was enormous?
He ended up being how much?
10-7.
Went upstairs at around like whatever 5-6 a.m. or whatever. How do you feel?
A little better than him, I think, right now.
We're going up to the 5th floor. Thank you. Delivery room.
He was room 11.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Room 11. You're right. This is a locker room. A locker room. So now we're taking the journey to the 5th floor.
Did you find your Chase?
No.
He's upstairs. Go get him.
I'm playing dog fluffy duck.
If not, bring another pair of socks down. One of the medications that I was on for gestational hypertension can cause low blood sugar in babies. So he had his blood sugar tested and it was low. To fix that, you give them syrup, basically, to help bring up that blood sugar. So they gave him that syrup and he turned blue.
It happened in seconds. So basically, he went totally blue, and the nurse was just like...
It was like, should I fix it here? No. And that's when they went into, there's like a nursing room with like little incubators in there. And they took him to the incubator.
Put him in the incubator and then push that button. And at least 20 people, if not more, they were just rushing in. Like in the room, like doctors, nurses, all kinds of people. And like
the announcement on the hospital was code blue, floor blanket blank.
Yeah.
Code blue, floor blanket. That's for Teddy.
Yeah, so obviously it was incredibly terrifying, but first of all reassuring, and then he cried very early on.
He did. They didn't have to like tube him or anything, but they put the oxygen around him and they let him absorb that like
kind of
special
massage
oxygen.
him and whatever.
Yeah.
So he cried up very quickly, but there was definitely, I think, a moment when I think he just wasn't breathing.
As a mom going through code blue, and I'm in therapy for a lot of this birth story, I think it had some traumatic aspects to it that I wasn't, well, nobody anticipates them, but really processed. It wasn't the experience that I'm used to or was preparing for. So we're working through that. You okay? Did you find Chase?
Yeah.
Where was he?
He was on a couch.
Oh, was he? We're talking about Teddy's birth story. Teddy had a code blue. 20 people showed up in a room. With that and his low blood sugar, Teddy was admitted to the NICU.
This is gonna just like an update because I want to record our state of mind as it is right now. I think both Alyssa and I are running on fumes to the extreme, and this is the feeling actually that I very distinctly remember with Annabelle as well. Like the day one, this pure exhaustion, and not even exhaustion, it's just like sleep deprivation, you know? So it's hard to think. It's very hard to
make decisions.
To make any rational decisions. We're kind of like, we started to get a little iffy with each other as well. So, but luckily we are in a fun heaven. We can take a little nap, and I feel like that's gonna make a big difference.
I think so.
So,
big sleeps, food, keeping food. I think your parents are bringing you food.
yeah.
And I just ordered food.
So
I think food, sleep. We basically have been given 5 hours off.
yeah.
So let's go and take advantage of it.
Let's do it. We pack up our bags from up there. Teddy's already down, so we kind of like get situated in our room.
This isn't a leave your baby and run away kind of thing. Every baby has their own room with a sleeping accommodation, your own shower, your own bathroom. It wasn't the best place mentally for me, but I stayed with him a whole week.
Dog fluffy socks.
There you go.
They just kind of put him on the monitor. They monitor him.
He had a lot of fluid and stuff still in there from the quick birth. That's the reason why he had the code blue, and that's the reason why he had such a hard time with the glucose sugar.
How do you feel?
Good.
Yeah.
Considering. I think we're gonna be okay. It feels like things are starting to do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm tired. I could sleep for 1,000 years right now and still not have enough, but I love that he's here and he's so soft and squishy and talkative and adorable.
Yeah.
I just love him.
Teddy.
So,
Let's take a look, Teddy. Hey, Teddy boy.
The other symptom came up, which was the AO positive blood clash. It's not the most intense, like if you have a negative and a positive blood type mix up, that's way worse. But O positive and A positive do not mix, and he ended up with very bad jaundice. So we did some light therapy. They now have things called Billy blankets for your bilirubin. It was like a blanket that you could hold him and wrap him in the light. I really liked that. And then what they do once you get his levels back up, they make you wait a whole other day without any light to make sure the levels stay the same.
So we were there quite a while. I think that was a very hard part for you mentally, because you stayed there the whole time. I did go home like throughout the days, and sometimes I spend the night there.
When you're at the NICU, you have nurses to take care of everything. But we had a healthy baby, so I knew I could take care of everything. But that was the other part. It was just me taking care of everything. I was scared to ask a nurse for help because I didn't want to bother them with my incredibly healthy baby who just needs some light. So I think that's where my mental decline really hit. Yeah, I had some really bad moments there. And then his bilirubin came back up.
We're packing to go home.
We're saying goodbye to this beautiful room here. I can't believe you still have milk left.
Barely.
And this is it. We are officially discharged.
We're just finishing his last feeding here, and we are going home.
We are going home. Look at all the breast milk on my shirt.
But he just chowed down a huge meal.
Insane amount. So we're just gonna make sure, just gonna keep him upright somewhat a little.
On a Monday.
He came home on Sunday or Saturday, I forgot. Saturday.
As a follow-up, just so you know, I had to take him to blood work every 2 weeks for 2 months. But he did great. He's doing awesome now. And Annabelle has been the best big sister.
You love being a big sister?
You're so good at it.
So that's where we're at right now.
October 3rd, 10/7. Little man was born. We named him Ted Michael. And yeah.
The rest is history.
All right, we're signing off. What do you say to the camera to sign off, Annabelle? Can you say like and subscribe?
Like and subscribe.
Let us know what you think right here in the comments.
Any questions?
How was your birth story? Should we start the weekend?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, let's continue our cool weekend.
Time to go to Walmart. Woo!
No, we're gonna feed the baby. You wanna meet your brother? He's here. Want to come say hi?
Where is he?
Say hi. There he is. You see him? That's your brother. Can you say hi? Oh, he said hi back. How cool is that? What do you think? Want to see how tiny his hands are?
Hát gyertek, anyu.
Look. He has tiny hands. He looks just like you when you were a baby.
Yes.
Yeah, he does. I look, he's got a little friend. Who's that pistachio?
I think he says want to hello.
I think Buddy's dreaming right now. What do you think?